God damn, those are some expensive sneakers.
They are. They're about $1,200 a pair, I think you said.
He's a
that.
hype beast.
And he has 2 feet.
He does.
Is that how that sneakers work?
That's why I said a pair.
It's
Nick.
been a while since I've bought shoes. Welcome back. Good game. Chiefs just do what Chiefs do. They continue on. They're unstoppable, except for Legacy. We spoke about this yesterday. It's now time to brand something else. Because there are a lot of players in the OPL. And traditionally, in sport, you get some of these players... I mean, the interesting thing is that a lot of players in normal sport use their real names and then get nicknames.
Correct.
In esports, it's like you don't use your real name, you use a handle, but then on top of that, some people have nicknames.
Yeah, correct.
So
Like Swiper,
Yep.
his name's Brandon.
Yep.
Then he has DOS.
Yep.
Then he has the Armored Titan.
Yep.
Then he has the Rock in the top.
Yep.
Then he has Big Swips.
Big swips,
Yep.
little
So-
swips.
Little Swips sometimes when he's panting and ulting in and flashing away. So, I mean, my theory, Nick, before we go into this segment,
Please.
is one man
Yep.
has just hogged all the nicknames.
So, yeah, for sure. That is fun. He's got
Because he
at
also
least
calls
5.
himself the Blue Sword. So, like, there are just so many nicknames that Swiper has taken that no one else gets a nickname.
And you
'Cause we're all busy remembering Swiper's nickname.
I mean, you can't take Big Swips, but you could take the Blue Sword, you could
Armored
take
Titan.
Armored Titan and Rock in the top.
The thing with Swiper, though, is that he nicknames himself. There are so many other players, like when you give someone a nickname,
courageous.
it's usually like an organic, like something's come up, you're like, that's funny.
Yeah.
But he has given himself these nicknames and like so hard shipped them that that's just what you know him as. I think DOS may be the only one
yeah, that was Sammy that gave
that
him
he
DOS.
didn't give himself.
Where did that one come from?
Brandos.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
now because it's DOS, then Ronan is Nos, and then Harry is Hoss.
So really, you just need to be associated with Swiper,
Yeah.
and then you get a
Yeah.
nickname.
Can we give Swiper a new nickname of Bob Ross? Just because that
Maybe,
fits into
yeah.
the theme.
Bob
Brandon.
Ross.
That works.
Brandos, Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, that works.
Well, that's because Sammy used to prance around the house going, "Oh, Brandos, like where were you going?" And he just is an idiot. So yeah.
And so we thought that we should share the love around and, you know, maybe come up with some nicknames for some other players. I've prepared nothing.
No.
But because I thought this could be a nice organic group thing, we'd love to hear from the chat as well if you have nicknames for any players that you would like. But I've got 3 players that I wouldn't mind naming. But does anyone have just anything off the top of the dome for anyone in the OPL? Because I feel like a little more branding around these people, besides the insane amount of money they're spending on shoes, could be helpful.
Not off the top of the head. You'd need to give a team, I think,
I'm
as a
gonna-
starting point, maybe.
Well, the only one that I thought of was Res Heaven. I thought Dream could be a nice nickname.
That's pretty good.
We'll see how.
Yeah, that's good.
See if that one catches on.
I'm a big fan of like there being moments that kind of you can associate it with. So like, you know, something happens over the split or it's like a significant play, maybe associated with a different champion or, you know, some crazy Baron play. Do you know what I mean? So like there's a story associated with it rather than just being like, oh, you're this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so for just prescribing nicknames to
So am
people,
I.
right?
I'm
Like,
actually the opposite. I would like walk up to you. I'd just be like Harry, and you'll be like, "What do you mean?" I'd be like, "Prince of England. That's your name from now on."
Oh, sweet as.
So like, yeah. And then
yeah, I'm good with
I'm
that.
also annoying as all hell, where like no one else will ever call you Harry, and I'll only ever call you Harry.
I can't
Harry.
unsee it
Is
now.
there a
Harry.
resemblance?
And that is...
See, I'm pretty
It
good at
works!
this. Yeah.
The system works. There's no way that I'm not just going to call you Harry from
I'm
now on.
royalty now.
No, you're not.
I definitely
actually.
am.
No,
Because
no,
you stepped away from the
you
royal
stepped
life.
away
Well, you know,
like a coward.
you do get that sometimes.
You did not step up to your royal duties, despicable though they are.
I actually left before Brexit was a thing, so how about that?
I did. I mean, he's.
I have no idea.
The royal
Let
inbreeding
me-
has taken over.
Let me take you on a tangent. I'm going to hijack this scene.
Okay,
Oh,
so let's force some nicknames onto 3 people. So the first one I've got is M&S. So we've got 3 rookies here.
You
What do
know,
we reckon?
I've thought about this name in particular when we were trying to think of people that we could give nicknames to.
Yeah.
And I cannot think of anything but an enemy from Finding Nemo.
And
Or like
So
SMS. Because like his name is an abbreviation for me.
Yeah. That's
So maybe we need to, maybe he already is the nickname.
Right, okay. Well, but isn't that all, that's all handles?
So in basketball, he would be called something like the prodigy or the answer or like something like really like short and sharp because like, what do we know about him? So this is the way you should do, Nick.
300 IQ.
What do we know about him? Smart.
Yep.
Parental approved within a Korean household to play video games, which
Yep.
my
Big deal.
understanding is big deal. Played the game for a year. So like, I would say he's like, I don't know, like I would just be at the moment, if I was doing this seriously, I'd be on my phone looking for synonyms for prodigy or like messiah or like,
There you
I
go.
would call him something really over the top. I kind of like messiah now that I've said it.
Yeah.
Because Legacy has been such a has been such a bad team for such a long time that he's coming in has really elevated this team. I would go with Messiah. I kind of like it.
I wanted to call him melts in your mouth because
He's like Eminem.
he sounds like M&M's.
I figured we'd go that direction,
Yeah.
so I had an enemy.
What about the Savior?
do those M&Ms have
Savior?
names?
Savior?
Savior.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, that's what I'm heading around that direction, right?
What about WizKid, Wunderkind,
What's the
Wizard?
band that did Stairway to Heaven?
Led Zeppelin?
Zeppelin.
I like it because it's one remove, right? Because Rusty's talking about like he's going to lead them to heaven, Stairway to Heaven, and then it's
right,
one removed
okay.
is Led Zeppelin.
Which
Like
is- yeah.
nicknames like that are really good.
There, that's a thinker.
Yeah.
Zeppelin.
Yeah.
We
I don't
going
mind
with
it.
Zeppelin?
I don't mind.
Even though the most famous Zeppelin of all time crashed and burned?
Yeah, well, that makes
Was
it
it
even
lead?
better because then. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like, what you would really do if you were like going really far down the nickname hole
Yep.
is you would say his nickname is now just Zed.
Oh, okay. This
Yeah,
totally
he'd
works.
either be like
Why?
Zed or like Zeps or
Okay,
something.
I'm
after that.
happy with Zed.
Yeah.
Zed works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zed works. All right. Eminez, you're now Zed.
We
Puma.
gave you a letter
You're
from
up
the
next.
alphabet.
Puma. Puma.
Which letter do we give to him?
Cool. So, young,
Yep.
promising.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of thinking like cat family
Mm-hmm.
vibes right now, right? But a little bit of inexperience. So, like, I was thinking about like, you know, what like kitten.
So not a
Call it
cougar.
I'm
Kit?
gonna call
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Like kit.
Like go against
Yeah,
it.
I like kind of like kit, like or something like kitten. Like,
Because he's going with,
Cub?
he's picked a fierce animal.
are you a puma cub or are you a puma
I'm gonna
kitten?
call him
maybe
Spoon's DMs because he gets always know what he's drops from Puma.
Look, whilst
That's not bad as
I'm
well.
not supposed
I
to
don't-
mention our sponsors on broadcast.
I don't mind the idea of kit or kitten.
I think
Alright.
Kit makes me think of a particular Game of Thrones actor. That's
It
all I can
ended
think
well
of.
for him.
Yeah, but that's all I
What
can
about
think
cub?
of.
Is a puma a cub? I feel like a puma
All
cub.
cats are cubs, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So I kind of like cub.
Cub?
Maybe something like that.
Cub.
'Cause-
And when we get chummy, I can call him
What
Cub.
about pants?
Yeah.
pants?
Yeah, because then he can fit the dad joke of I'm gonna poo my pants.
Is that really
Come
what you
on,
want to be
bruh.
named after?
I mean, are we not the ones
That-
naming him?
That would be such a
Feeling
tell.
yourself, Rusty?
That'd be such a tell. He
Okay,
knows
is it
that.
pants or because we're about to go into game number 3? Is it pants
We've
or
got
is it
another
cub?
one to do. I hate to break it to you.
Cub.
The game can wait.
Cub?
Cub? I don't mind cub.
I like cub.
So we've got
I'm cool
Zed
with
and
cub.
Cub.
Yeah.
I'm cool with
These are
cub.
good
What's the third
nicknames.
one?
The third one, we can think about it during the next game.
No, we can't.
the
Just hold on a
third
second,
one,
Josh.
the third one is Kweku.
Oh,
Kweku. Oh,
Oh, that would be like Queknos.
Queknos.
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Or,
Well,
who's
Aquaman.
the
he's
guy with
also
the
known
nice hair?
as Sam.
Who's the guy
if
with
that
the nice
helps.
Yeah, his name's Sam.
He's already got a. He's kind of just called Sam more than Kweku.
Yeah.
Who's
I'm
the
gonna
guy
call
with the
him-
nice hair?
Kweku.
Fabio.
Fabio. Yes. All right,
Fabio?
go with Fabio.
Zed.
What about
Cub,
the mountain?
Fabio. It works.
It could just
Or
be the mountain.
That could work
Poseidon.
as well. All right. Speaking
Have we
of.
got any other players we want to do?
Oh, do you want? Yeah. Okay. You know what? I don't think we the 2017 OPL
Because we
teams
got
had
30.
enough nicknames.
We got 37 more players that we could probably name.
Legacy versus Pentanet.gg. Let's bring up the Legacy lineup. I'm sure there's some nicknames
I
we
don't
can
want
assign here. Rusty.
Yeah, Top Food is your top laner. Baby Bits in the jungle. And an anemone in the
Zed,
mid lane.
please.
Zed, sorry. Ray is the perfect player.
Yeah,
is
so
your
that's
ADC,
another one,
which
yeah.
is one of his nicknames. And Isles, who is a new player and probably needs one in
Probably.
support.
Yeah. I like Rays. The perfect player
Yeah.
is like self-titled and also a great nickname. Like the franchise as well. Like I kind of like Rays' nickname.
He is the best because just as he was named the perfect player in solo queue, he made a massive mistake on stream. It was like, this is just so good.
Yeah.
So it's stuck.
By the way, I'm seeing a bunch of nicknames coming up in chat, so we'll bring these up in the next seg. Let's take a look at the Pentanet.gg lineup. Jakey.
By Panther in top lane. Yak Sully in the jungle. Gonna be Get Back in the mid lane. Trade it. Nader Carrot and Roger support. Western Way is their coach. I I feel like Bio needs one.
Yeah.
But like, would you just call him Smile?
Didn't he have
Bio
one?
Smile? I don't know.
When he was on Direwolves. I feel like he did. I forget.
He's not smiling.
He's
now.
there it is.
There it
Cheeky
is.
smirk.
Hey,
He can't hold it that cheeky.
Yeah, there's no way he can't not smile.
He's riding high off a win as well. Well done, Smiley. All right, it's time to get into game number 3. It is Legacy versus Pentanet.gg, and it is happening after this short break.
Pentanet.gg versus Legacy will be your third game of the day coming into week number 3. Pentanet.gg hot off the win from their previous game earlier today, so definitely if they're momentum focused, this would be their time to shine, to try and crumble down Legacy and their perfect score of 5-0.
Yes, and if you think back to the very start of the day, the conversation was, what game are you most looking forward to? And for me, it was this one, if Pentanet.gg wins. And they did. And it was decent. It was a solid game from them. They'd be very happy with their performance. And now they come into this one with some momentum. And that's the thing. Momentum, I think, is important for this team. It was spoken towards by their coach Western Way already that it is important. But now you've got Sully, a young player, first real split in the OPL. Get back, who's not a rookie, has been around for a while, but still loves that momentum for sure. So give it to them and see how it goes against Legacy coming in fresh.
And Legacy are a team that are no stranger to the carry potential. Superstar roster in all of their lanes. Topoon, M&S, Rays, all able to put out big damage. Even Babbitt definitely getting the job done, and a lot of respect shown to their Korean duo. LeBlanc finally getting the respect that she deserves, denying that.
Oh yeah?
From what M&S has been able to display, whilst the Mordekaiser and set are taken away from Topoon. So standard draft opening once again with the ADCs being locked in those first rotations.
Yeah, interesting with with LeBlanc here that M&S trends to those control mages, the more standard style when the LeBlanc isn't there. It's like his one real assassin where he just plays very pokey and tries to, get those picks off constantly. Very good on the pick, but obviously not going to be here this time. They've gone for the Ornn with the Braum as well here, Pentanet.gg. So again, they'll pick Braum in their first 3 because it complements their first 2 picks. This time an Ornn, not a Gragas.
And they will hold off for that mid and top lane matchup. Not willing to blindly pick that so far, so we are looking at a bot lane that is complete.
Rakan has a surprisingly high priority, I will say. Now, one of the matchups that it is decent into is the Braum, because you can get out before he stuns you very easily. You knock the Braum up, he's not going to be able to get the autos or the Q off. Suddenly you've got the mobility to move around. You can heal against him as well, melee champion. Get that gold income. So one of the good Rakan matchups. It also just seems like Legacy have a preference for this pick. Isles might just be the most comfortable on the Rakan right now, as we're yet to see the extent of his champion repertoire.
Yep, Soraka taken away off the board once again. We've seen Topoon play that one to great effect so far. Very good at area denial, controlling objectives. That have been a big focus here for Legacy and taking them online. 2 jungle bans actually coming out that definitely do fit Babbitt's hero pool, but denying that away from what Pentanet.gg have to offer. And a double ban now onto M&S. So we're seeing a lot of respect once again to echo that point. They're taking away the Silas now. The only other pick that M&S has shown us in the OPL has been the Orianna, the control mage, as you highlight, but everything in preparation for this has gone towards that Korean duo.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, the Soraka being taken from Topoon is a pretty big deal. We'll get to see the champions that he chooses to go towards. I have been waiting for this for a while, so it is good to see the champion finally locked in. Topoon will get the cannon. Not the first time you'll see this globally. One of the first times we'll see this in the OPL. Now, it could be the AD, could be the AP. Most likely will be the AP, of course. Enemy ADCs above and beyond, far and everywhere, near and far. None of them have mobility except for Ezreal right now, so it makes sense that you can get the cannon and get into those backlines with good teleports as roster's done.
We're going to see that second Carfist coming out of the squad once again. It was scaring what it was able to achieve in the early game. We saw level 2 turret pushing, really trying to get Praetor and Rove online.
Ooh.
And now we have a Kayle, so 2 new debuts here in Legacy. Interesting to see who will be playing what.
Yeah, well, I think because the thing is, Get Back is the on player a lot of the time here for Pentanet.gg as well. So the fact that that was flexed, M&S now says, well, give me the free matchup. He's going to look towards playing Kayle in mid lane, as the Kennen and Aatrox usually find themselves planted in the top lane right now. No longer flexed as much is that Aatrox, besides some niche champion or team decisions such as the Direwolves. So now we see M&S on something very new, very different. Not unknown or unseen through the world. I believe we have seen this even in the LCK in Korea, so not surprising that the Koreans will look towards this.
So we talk about tools now that can try and deny the Requiem for those Dark Harbor stacks, the jungle ganks, if you will, that can come from Karthus. Obviously, you've got Kayle with her ultimate, you've got the heal that she can emit. Same for Isles there. You'd imagine he's going Guardian as the rune choice too, and Babbitt with the shield. So there are a few tools when it comes to just simple mechanical outplays and timings.
Yep. And also the fact that there'll be a Zonius for top boon and all the shields like you mentioned around for Raze. So they have a lot of answers for that Karthus as the game progresses. A whole lot of damage actually across the board here and a lot of scaling from both respective teams. Ornn and Kayle scale in very different ways, though they still have that scaling present. So we're very curious to see how this one plays out. I think the early game will dictate a lot of the flow of this. If Pentanet.gg are able to get those early leads, then that actually does make things a bit more difficult for their opponents in Legacy to deal with. As the long-range engage, the Karthus pressure, it's all going to be there.
Always, we got ourselves ready for the third game of the day. We do have Jensen, Legacy's head coach, on standby once again, joining us to give us some insight into this draft and into this matchup. We saw Pentanet.gg pretty strong earlier today coming into this matchup against Order. We've now seen a fair focus on the Korean Jury for Legacy. Do you think that is the right approach for teams to be trying to take here?
I think that there is a big difference in the way that teams are approaching the meta at the moment. The teams that feel that we want to get these very strong team fighting compositions around the dragons and stuff like that. And for us, we're a team that believes on playing towards the silence, getting tempo on the map. I think I might have overdone it with trying to get silent prior in this game a little bit. So we have to see how that, if that comes back to bite us later on in the game. But I think that this is a big question. How valuable are dragons really? And you can say it's kind of RNG because there's a 25% chance where Ocean Soul it becomes a win condition, whereas the other souls are kind of like a nice buff to have.
Yeah, definitely. And so you have the 60-odd seconds from once the draft is locked into when you have to leave the players. How is it that you looked at this draft and told them, you know, we have maybe not as much dragon focus compared to our opponents. How do we play this game out? What did you tell them?
Well, I modeled the game around how we take team fights in the mid game. So there's 3 big approaches towards it. There's all-in type team comps, there's pick type team comps, and there's kite type team comps. So in this case, we are generally playing towards a kite type team comp. And if they are going to group up onto the neutral objectives first, then the plan is to play away from them in cross map. And in order for that to happen, we need to have pushing side lanes to enable that play in the first place.
We've seen a fair focus onto what M&S is able to do, especially on the Blanc, where he's just going in for like 1v4 situations, not getting punished. Does that seem to be a bit of a focal point, almost like setting an identity for him on this team to be put onto these champions that just can not necessarily be so safe, but can just output so much and go for those crazy plays that just nobody expects?
So at the moment, I'm letting the players have a lot of control in terms of how they want to play the game. I just give them the general structure, which is my rules in terms of how we want to draft. And there's a lot of like going for player comfort at this point of time because I just reached Australia a few days ago, and I've just kind of started to actually take on the full responsibilities of a head coach. Before that, you could say that I'm like Zordon from the Power Rangers. I'm just a talking head. Sounds like this. There's like our Rangers. There's a great evil attacking Summoner's Rift right now. We got to answer it.
Very much look forward to this one there as we could see a bit of action happening in the map. Thank you very much, as always, there, Jensen, for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing how this game goes on.
Thank you very much.
And welcome to the OPL finally.
Glad to be here.
Well, a fair bit happened there between jungle interactions. You can see Pentanet.gg actually stealing away the blue, and then Babbitt and Solly being a little bit cute together and sort of exchanging skills.
That was one of those like interviews where you're sitting here with Jensen, you want to ask these questions, but there's so many little things happening on screen. You're like, oh, can I? Nothing actually happens, thankfully, just 0-0, but lots of pressure between those junglers, like you mentioned. Babbitt going real aggro, like going real hard, trying to find Sully. Sully was in his jungle, to be fair, so that makes sense. Smites were used across the board. Babbitt then finds him, and they just trade some health bars, and here we go. It's a weird not even really a vertical jungle. It's just a weird diagonal style jungle that we've seen from Legacy right now. Red buff to blue side quadrant, sees it stolen, goes to the enemy red side quadrant. Now he's at the enemy blue side quadrant. So just try keeping up with bad people, give you a headache.
Yeah, we're seeing lane swaps after lane swaps as well. Definitely flexing around to try and find those desirable situations and look to establish the control. As you mentioned, is deep in the enemy jungle.
It's not the first time he's done this as well. He's going to deny a minion in the camp. He's against the farm jungler as a kill-style jungler who can farm if the Tiamat comes through, if it's a conscious choice, but that's obviously 1,200 odd gold away compared to a Karthus doing it straight away. So denying those camps is not a bad choice. It's very rare that he'll find himself in the enemy jungle unless they start getting kills earlier. Whereas the Karthus just lives for this vertical jungle clearing right now, and that is what it has become after all of that aggressive early play.
Yeah, quite happy to wait around, but somebody that won't be happy with the situation is Get Back, because he does not want to be getting back from that fountain, taking a lot of pressure. Definitely far too low to tower dive at this stage, but losing a lot of that pressure.
And actually, even the ward hop used there by Babip feels like he wanted the kill. You don't use that ward hop against the target you can get a free Q off as the Lee Sin, especially when Ornn gets locked into that animation of the dash. It's very predictable, so he could have just queued and followed his way in for damage. Wanted to maximize his damage combo, it felt like, but they're not going to get the kill. They're not even going to get a summoner spell from Get Back.
Actually now opts for a Tri-Bush ward as he's pushing in this wave. Doing a fair bit of damage there to M&S to his level up on him. Once we reach those all-important ultimates that will come online, and obviously Kale, the later it goes on, grows some wings, becomes a terror.
Becomes a real pain to deal with, that much is for certain. And we saw the lane swaps, you highlighted that before, but really top laners are just mid and mid laners are just top.
Yeah.
So even the scoreboard got juked in this case.
I saw that. Karthus doing as Karthus does. You highlighted before, he is a power farmer. They are now going to start this one. The sweeper comes out, they clear that. They will get their attention onto Drake, which Jensen highlighted not being the biggest priority.
Razor here, Babip is on the move. They can see the health bar of the Drake. They'll be too late to get it.
Are they going to try and deny this one? Babip's not close enough to try and go for a dash and a smite. Flash getting used here by Sorley. Flash used by Rogue as well. A lot of summoners burn out here by Penitent.gg to ensure no casualties for a first blood.
Yeah, they committed to the dragon. They had no idea where their opponents were. This is actually a lot of health going to be used top lane. If Get Back was 6, M&S might have been in a lot of trouble, but he ticks 6 by himself, gets that wave pushed in. Things will be okay. Good CS difference actually between the Kale and the Ornn. You take a second to look at the scoreboard and adjust your eyes to that one. So doing very well for himself now is this Kale, and only just starting to get stronger and stronger.
Getting within lethal range there, flirting with the idea of death, which is perfect for Sorley. Doesn't have level 6 himself, so unleash that Requiem.
Also a little bit of a nicer patch to be the Karthus, given the fact that, again, Krugs provide that little bit more for you in the way of experience and gold, so can more comfortably just hard farm himself. One of the things we saw from Pentanet.gg before this patch when they picked the Karthus was a lot of lane tax. You know, a lot of time spent by Sully in his own laners' waves. He went bot lane super early. I think it was like a level 2 gank if memory serves, and then that continued as he went to top lane, did the same thing with Herald. This time around, he is more sticking towards the jungle. They force the vertical clears, like mentioned, and he just hangs out, farms as hard as he can to keep that lead over the Lee Sin, as he still gets the relevant experience and gold.
Yeah, not wanting to get funneled this time, will tax those laners as you highlight. There's a fair bit of damage there, as they are still waiting for that level 6. It's going to be very interesting once that new patch comes online. We're having the likes of Darius junglers, for instance.
No, thank you.
Imagine if Ornn was a jungler.
If Ornn was a jungler?
He could play every role.
Real pain. Real pain. There's been periods of time where everyone's been a jungler, really. Shen jungle was the nightmare, because you don't know if he's 6. You want to trade with your opponent, and suddenly there's a big shield on him and you're dead.
Suddenly you all stand united, whether that's for positivity or sadness. A fair bit of damage coming out here right now. Pradev only having those junk rooms. Did have the summoner, sniper available. You can see all of them cycling around him. That's because the ultimate was popped. He's expecting a close range affair. The disengage here from Legacy is solid.
He had a whole host of Chakram surrounding him. His DPS was way too high. They're just going to walk that one out. Also, not really possessing any mana or control of the lane would have been Isles and Razor. They were cheating a ward to the Tri-Bush to spot the Karthus, and Unfortunately for them, they found the Karthus, as this is a lot of pressure once again placed at top lane, to the point where Get Back is ulting to clear the wave. Just to clear the wave, and his health's gone.
And he's getting very low here, the ultimate getting used, the flash as well. He ensures that as the swords come crashing down, Ornn ult used to clear the wave, and that's Eminence's ticket to say, game on.
I mean, that's just good League of Legends from the mid laner of Legacy, getting those kills. He now finds himself again with that big CS lead and the kill to boot. That's experience that goes to his advantage as well, that will be missed as that minion wave crashes onto the turret. Teleport presumably has to be used by Get Back to catch what he can. That would hurt.
Quite happy just farming away here. Does have the BF sword and the Culling Blade. As Raze crashes that one in.
Yeah, it is the Gunblade actually from top in this time. It's probably my preferred choice. Being able to give yourself that Cutlass for AD in lane. Lots of pressure against a champion like the Aatrox, and then you build into AP. He's also going for the dagger here, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he builds.
Raze fairly far ahead in this situation right now. Definitely well known for his team fight ability, but doing very well. The solid start of this game right now is jukes himself out of the route. The rest of the squad have rotated to top lane as the rotation comes forward. They are controlling this river, dictating whether or not this Rift Herald gets started, but there goes the dash, the shield goes up, not going to find too much right now, but they're fighting on top of the teleport, the ultimate comes out, is there the Gravitum? It is! It lost him in place, Bebek forced the dash away, flash is used to ensure the kill comes out, and yes it does. 1 for 1.
Yeah, Babip getting stunned before he could even get to the wall, so places the control inside the wall, just trying to get over there. Not going to be able to get himself the safety. Good picks here from Pentanet.gg. A fantastic turnaround for them after the way that KO versus Ornn 1v1 has started the game off, to be able to get something back.
Eminence not going to be upset about that, however. He was free pushing bottom lane. Collecting a lot of CS over his counterpart here. 30 CS and leading, still collecting a lot of plates as well, so I'm sure he's got a healthy gold lead now.
Oh, my brain did the thing where I was like, oh, Kennen's doing Gunblade. I was looking at Kale because Kennen was mid lane. Ah!
It's a confusing one.
Damn, lane swaps. Thank you.
The Observer MVP.
Well, they just have our best interests at heart. That's so kind.
CS advantage in the jungle. As you'd imagine for a Karthus here who has Rift Herald in his pocket. Where is he going to decide to use that one? He's gone back to base.
And really this game is just the M&S show right now. There's strong team fighting from Legacy pretty much across the board through their champions, but the concern is, and like it was mentioned by Jensen actually in the interview with the coach, is the side lane pressure. That's going to be a big deal. This Kayle is already so large, has the double daggers with the Gunblade completed. Like, who's going to deal with this Kayle as the items start to come through? Because eventually this Ornn, while he'll be strong as the Abyssal Mask gets upgraded at 12 to the Infernal Mask, he can't outlast the Kayle. The Kayle will always win that battle, that war of attrition.
And this is when you're meant to be scaling on up, so they need to address this and address it fast as two members coming through. Moonlight Vigil beautifully sidestep, but now he's in a 1v3 situation. Will the members come in? Teleport threatened and the rotation from the Lee Sin, who just backs away with Rakan.
He had no flash there either, M&S, so they could have actually tried to lock Zed down. Didn't find him because of a nice little juke, just fancy footwork coming out of this. Kayle now in a 1v2. As the teleport came in to protect him, he'll threaten this turret, try and take down the outer, while pressuring them and keeping them busy. Get back going to try and trade, Raze will answer it, but overall Legacy, it feels like they have found some control in this game and they're continuing that through as Legacy tend to do.
And that's that Dream Ocean, Drake, as Jensen highlighted. Definitely want to keep an eye on how that actually changes their strategy. Whether or not the side lane pressure will be the focal point, or if we're going to see a bit more of an idea going towards those Drakes. But it's going to be the tower to fall on down, the first one at that.
Solo gold.
The gold difference, it's disgusting. As we highlight, this is a Kayle. You're meant to be arguably weaker in this stage.
12 minutes into the game, he's got like 2.4k over his respective lane opponent to get back.
He's not weak.
Oh, that's gross.
He is definitely not weak there, Rusty.
He's close to being on the clock as far as farm is concerned as well, so There's very promising stuff here once again. You remember the first week of the OPL when we had an interview, I think it was with Denian, and he said, I don't think anyone can compete with M&S mechanically. And you know, this is our first ever time seeing him as commentator, so we were like, oh yeah, right. I'm sure he's good, but like, really? Like, someone who's only played for a year, no one can compete with mechanically. Well, we're 3 weeks in and it's starting to feel like that's becoming more true.
Hearing the story from him firsthand, I believe the hype. But there's ego in his results, and it's justified. Definitely feeling that way so far. The whole of Penanet gathering to the top lane, trying to force that one out. Kel standing strong as the defender, and Tapoon just says, well, it's my time to shine. I'll carry on what you started.
Kennen did go Gunblade. I was right in the end. Now I've made myself look silly for no reason. It's the only takeaway from this situation. Just ticks over to 11 as well. We're hitting not just item breakpoints, which is the reason I bring that up. We're hitting level breakpoints, objectives, while that may not be the primary focus of Legacy, things like Drakes or Rift Herald fights. They can still actually look for those moments right now with how far ahead they are. There's a 2-level difference between M&S and Get Back. It's level 9 on his Ornn to 11 from Mikhail, and that's a massive spike. If you're Legacy, you could start forcing those fights now around any objective. Unfortunately for them, Drake's 2 minutes and 40 seconds away, and there's no Rift Herald just yet. So it will be the turrets.
And just look how elusive these members, these side laners, if you will, are. You know, you see Kemen get jumped upon, he can just speed boost away. Likewise for M&S here, who now denies the blue buff. And will continue the top lane siege. So Legacy in the driving seat here. Ray's just left to his own device. Very happy with how this game's working in his favor, just able to CS freely. And it seems to be the common fight factor, really, when we look at a Legacy scaling sort of situation. All these resources get pumped into M&S. People forget about Raze. He sits in the back line and cleans up.
Oh, yeah. It's not like Raze isn't getting resources either. You know, he's actually been given a decent amount of attention from Babip and from Isles specifically. It's just that M&S is getting to play the strong side. If that makes sense. Whereas Topu, always the respectful player, will be able to play his weak sides accordingly. And very rare does he die in those situations. But this is a result of, and I don't know if this was intentional by Pentanet.gg, if it was just a Drake's, like a jungle steal from Sully that ended up becoming a vertical jungle clear, but that vertical jungling is what enables the Kayle to get the lead that she does through the 1v1. Get Back was the weak side Ornn. And it becomes very hard to play Ornn when you've got a Lee Sin just in the pocket, sitting behind your Kayle. That's really a big factor as to where these leads come from. And suddenly, it becomes almost insurmountable. Really feeling that way right now.
Yep, that 2k lead, you can definitely see in your scoreboard there the reason why that's into action.
Ornn uses Barrier just to cycle those spells through to have teleport for the objectives that are coming up 50 seconds until the Drake. Herald is alive, so makes a lot of sense to cycle that one through while he can. And it's not an ignite, so he can do it at his own will. But I bet he wishes he was M&S right now. Level 10 compared to the 12. I mean, if Ornn was 12, he'd have an Infernal Master.
They've been searching for those structures. They're desperately now saying, we need to do something. We need to pick up this Rift Herald. Get Back, what can he do? Because the Vision Ward over there does control Wood already.
You hate to see it.
Isles is on top of this. Like, we will support you. Go, take the Rift Herald. How are you going to use it? Where are you going to use it? We are looking to threaten inhibitor turrets before a 20-minute mark.
I mean, in terms of gain, getting a Herald is nice, but you have to use it for something meaningful. And if Legacy say, you can have that objective, we're going to play towards the Drake, we're going to play towards the Kayle because we'll get a turret during the time you get Herald, then really Legacy hard win this until proven otherwise by Pentanet making a play. He's only very low on mana right now as well. If he looks to summon the Herald here, I'd say is a risk.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see Pentanet just decide to pull the plug at one stage here, just try and force out that action. They haven't used that Requiem so far. Unable to really find a member low enough to actually justify its usage. As a Ocean Drake gets collected here by Legacy. So far ahead in this game now that they can get the side pressure and more.
This is really hard to do something in response if you are Pentanet.gg right now. The Ornn is playing the waiting game, just to hold on for dear life. He'll always be struggling. If the Karthus comes down to help, I worry that they'll get double killed
Yeah.
in the current state of this lane.
He's hanging around.
M&S has also been a Krug Goblin. He has been taking those off cooldown. And
Oh, look at the damage. Force out the flash response straight away. I will delete you to never, ever come and try and fight me
who's
again.
next?
It's literally this. It's a dating show across the map because people are meeting. People aren't having the best time. It's Valentine's Day 2.0.
Movie dates with Nick Boy 2.0. We find ourselves, you're absolutely right, another kill goes over. Just like Vetch, I don't think if Ornn was there it makes a difference. Sully probably still dies, or he'll be lucky to be alive because of the crowd control that's provided from an Ornn. That's about it. Aatrox traded decently well with him, but at the end of the day, the Gunblade was used, the flash wasn't there, and I have a feeling that M&S would have continued to look at him, stare him down, and say, let's fight if he had those spells available. This will continue. This will not get better for them. They do not collect go. They're not pass go. They're not collect $200. They go straight to jail if they find themselves a Kayle. That wasn't meant to rhyme.
It worked well, though.
I feel bad.
I respect it. Rift Herald's still in their possession as two members show face in the bottom lane now, looking to try and take down that turret. Try and claim whatever they can, but will Legacy give them the option? It may not seem to be that way. He jukes out the Ornn, it comes back again. There's the ultimate as a response. Kayle doing Kayle things. Members go golden. Kicks come across. Requiem to try and survive. Requiem pumping out damage. I wonder how many Dark Hub stacks they can collect if they can find an execution. They will get the shutdown, and that's an important talking point. But a double kill response from Tapoon is that much better. Babbitt running with the Summoner Heal. He survives, he jukes, he re-engages. Ray's looking for the shutdown on to get back to the nest of Legacy. Say, this jungle is ours. Get out.
And the ultimate was used by M&S for no real reason.
Yeah.
And take that into consideration and look at the outcome of this fight. If he had it for the Karthus ultimate, he probably just survives and they clean up. End of the day, they still clean up. That's how scary this Legacy roster has become with the items, with the levels that they've built up. And you can never forget about Tapoon. He is absolutely one of the best performing top laners in the OPL by far at the current moment. Now finds himself 2-0-1 in a very comfortable position, as well as Ray's picking up one of those kills.
Gold obviously going on to Sorley there, allowing him to unlock the Leandries. Baron is down to half as they now dictate. Do we turn? Do we stick around? Rift Herald getting utilized here. He's going to join this fight to try and make it a 6v5. Tapoon caught in the middle of a rock and a hard place, but
M&S
buying a lot of time for M&S just to slap members.
Just between Tapoon and M&S, they do that much damage.
Look at it.
That was after they were hitting the Baron and they had to be forced to disengage. Herald was kind of just summoned in there. I have a feeling it was expiring, and now he's just going to tank the turret up. Putting on a clinic. Legacy solo laners.
You can understand why all those bans went towards those two in particular.
We'll see this fight again. M&S does give the 700 gold shutdown to Sully on the back half of this. I mean, what did the Kayle ultimate do? Yeah. It stopped an Ornn's R2. And so it's very easy for them to use the Karthus ultimate afterwards. And of course, M&S kites towards Sully, who almost gets one-tapped, by the way, in the process. But that's all good. He'll take the gold shutdown. Then Babbitt tries to get out of the fight, disengage, and does. Compliments of a heal from Raze and a shield from Isles. Meanwhile, Tapoon's been smacking him up. And Raze is just going to wander through with his extra movement speed and auto attack. There goes Get Back.
Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. 5 kills to 2. It's a 5k lead. Is growing. Legacy able just to chuck out their ultimates and still come out ahead regardless. It's also so huge right now. Ginsu, Stinger, Blade. The guy has infinite attack speed.
It's also worth pointing out that right now, 250 CS at 22 minutes. Raze is a farming monster in the OPL this split. He averaged 13 CS per minute in his last game, which is just gross. It's 400 on CS at 33 minutes, maybe even more than that, as the Nexus died. So there's not only one threat on this team, there's currently 3. Babbitt's going to be playing support Lee Sin in this game. Looks like he's going to be going towards the Knight's Vow. So he knows the state of the map, he knows who's strong, and he doesn't need to be a 4th carry. Why bother?
No, that's a beautiful pick up there. Respecting the wing conditions, coming along for the ride and getting sure you can get your job done with the boys in the pocket.
I mean, Again, Jensen said the interview, you've got 4 Drakes. There's a 25% chance they got their Ocean Soul as well. So it's now just a win condition on top of everything else. Like Pensonet.gg needed an Ocean Soul to deal with on a Kayle.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
Don't do it. Bio.
Did well to get out of that one. Hits the Q2 with the knock-up on it, so saves his own life, but did have to ult.
Eminence didn't have a vision, so that's the most important talking point there. He didn't want to flash forward because he's blind right now. Unable to see where the rest of the roster were. Able to force another opponent to come challenge him in the bottom lane. 3 levels up on Get Back. As if items weren't enough of a talking point, there's ornifications.
Ornifications.
That's what I'm going to call them.
To each their own. I prefer the masterwork items. But you could say ornification.
He's ornifying himself?
He isn't, but you could say that.
Thank you. I'm grateful for your permission.
That's all that matters, right?
So many wards here for Sooty to collect, padding that vision score.
Yeah, going to prioritize the wards that are harder to catch. There's a lot of vision in general just in this area. I still could spend more time clearing wards than farming. There's been about 4 blue trinkets, 2 control wards, another one also in the middle of the lane that's been revealed. There's another one just there for good measure. They get money from their ward placement, but it also means they're going to spend so much time clearing wards that Legacy got a full reset off, and they're back to defend them. Anyone left to clear from the side of Legacy is the ward in the Baron pit. There is a control ward in the very back that Raze will be sprinting towards now, presumably. With that one cleared, a lot of the vision is gone. And like briefly highlighted by the observers, level 16 from M&S as well.
Yeah. He's got a stopwatch,
Monster.
so he wants safety. He's got it. Bro going to get kicked with that team to burn out those resources very early on. Now it's going to be Kennen who just gets deleted. No chance to do anything because he has no genres. But now this is the M&S show. We've talked about it before. Ultimate flash in. Swords come crashing as Pensonet fall on down. He goes golden as if he needs anything more. He is an angel. He is a demon. He is a nightmare. As he's going to come in for the cleanup for the ace.
Oh my god, stop it. They're already dead, Legacy. Raze and M&S just putting on a clinic. And that was with Tolpoon even having an attack in there at the start of the fight. Has gone for the Spellbind and not the Zonia's Hourglass and instantly dies. We'll see it in the replay anyway. As Legacy, they will be going towards this Baron. And between the two of them, they'll lose hardly a piece of HP. And they'll do it very quick.
That is for certain. Attack speed, steroids.
Oh.
For sure.
And we'll see this again. Babip hits the flash. Oh, the Warthog kick actually, just the insect. He did flash as well, it does seem like on the backside. And Tolpoon, he was going in. He gets knocked up by Bio, gets smacked up by Get Back and dies before he knows what hit him. As now we get to watch Raze and M&S just put in work. Raze in particular is the one not getting any support. M&S ults himself, stands in the middle, flashes forwards, but Raze is still able to play this one out with all the lifesteal and kiting that the perfect player we know has got.
The nickname boys do it again as the double kick comes out. Isles now looking to join into the fight. Can he get a knock-up? No, he's just going to dash away as once again Kayle does Kayle things. The Ornhorn comes out, but too little, too late! Unless they can, but no! It gets to turn an ulti, not buys enough time for Tolpoon to jump into the backline this time. Triple kill to his name. I don't need genres, he says. Who cares? You put everything into this guy, but I can do it too. The shutdown comes out onto Raze, but in the end, does it really matter? Bio bad for, he's picking up pot shots here and there. A double kill for his efforts. But M&S, he just wants to end this game on his own.
He's going to win the game. It's actually over. Tolpoon and Babip will be able to secure the last one as well. M&S is just going to waltz into the bottom lane while they were fighting the Aatrox. And here's a good lane he prepared earlier. Legacy smack them around.
That they do. So many threats on this Legacy roster. Who do you go for? Who do you take? We'll have to wait until next week as Legacy go 6-0.
Sully goes in for a celebration at the end there, even a smirk from Smiles there, BioPanther, after the game ends. That was one of those really challenging ones after the draft. The second there was a small lead, the second there was a vertical jungle, anything goes the way of that Kayle. It became very hard to deal with. Gets the support from the rest of his team, and just like that, one of our top of the table teams continues to stay undefeated with a very clean win.
Very clean is an understatement there. They dominated that performance from the early stages of the game, where Champions, quite honestly, shouldn't maybe be that strong, but they were able to assert that dominance. And we know what happens when that reaches the later stage of the game. They are single-handedly carrying. They're just having fun. So many threats, so much pressure, so many kills.
Isn't it weird that we can say that, though? I looked at the Chiefs game earlier today and said it felt like they were having fun just displaying their mechanics. Legacy, I would say, a bit more refined. They were playing more so as the team, you know, less individual flair, but still with the same amount of individual big moments. Even if Top In makes a mistake in a team fight and instantly dies, he comes back into the next one, gets an instant triple kill, you know? Just very good players.
Very good players indeed. And to interview some of them, with the boys back on the couch, take it away, Nick Boy.
Zed. He's a beast.
Our boy Zed on Kayle. New pick for him as well.
Yeah.
We were saying, you know, ban LeBlanc. Then he picks up Kayle. Then he just runs over a game. I guess like only Zed can do at the moment.
It was a hell of an ending. I mean, it was a hell of a second half of the game. Isles, how are you feeling after that one?
I don't know. I feel like I just got carried by my mid AD, to be honest, but...
Well, that's fair. But, you know, there's reflected glory. That's the thing.
I suppose. I'm still very glad we won, and yeah, I mean, our hard work's been paying off so far, so...
You got that right.
So talk to me about Raze, because he's had, I think, he's played with some of the best supports in the region, really, when you look at it. Like, you know, started with Aegium, then moves on to Ayla, who's obviously proven himself. Like, how do you find working with Raze, and kind of, is that your aspiration as well, to be able to reach that pinnacle of support within O's?
I think I kind of touched on this last time I talked, but I can pretty much reiterate it. Like, Raze, he is really charismatic, and he is just extremely knowledgeable. And I find myself, like, lately just kind of relying on his calls. And obviously it's not a bad thing. It won't really affect the gameplay, and it's not something you can see from the outside, but he makes a lot of individual calls that are really like things that I probably wouldn't have thought of myself. And I just hope as we develop like as a team and whatnot, that I can eventually be the one that are kind of seeing these plays before he does, or maybe at the same time. Yeah, so.
I mean, granted, you've only played 6 games of League of Legends so far, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. But talk to me about Legacy as an organization, because, you know, this is a brand new team, but Legacy at its core is still still Carbon, still Denny in there, new coach in, obviously. Well, how have you found Legacy so far?
I think our staff have been really accommodating to me, and I think that our team as a whole, it's kind of hard to operate when, you know, you have 2 Koreans and I'm like a rookie, and then you have these 2 veterans of the league. And I think the way our staff and the organization is like I don't know how we've built the super roster, and just the way that they've supported us, however it be, has been just really good.
The
to be honest,
support structure. From
just how everything operates, how everyone accommodates for us and whatnot has just been really, really good.
However, it's not all positive, because we're from the greatest part of Australia, in the entirety of Australia. Now they've plonked you out west. You missing home, mate?
Yeah, I definitely am. I actually, I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was last week. You were on our flight.
I took a trip back to home just to see my family, see my girlfriend and whatnot. So
enjoy the hour and a half drive out to the sticks where we currently reside.
Well, congratulations on the win. I mean, clearly you say there's some, rookie, pros, imports. There's a lot of pieces in this stew. The stew is tasty. The stew is paying off because Legacy.
Hey, he's an important bit as well.
Sorry?
He's an important bit of the stew. He's like, I'd
That's
say
what I'm saying.
He's a good potato.
No, but I was just saying that it's like a mix, and they're all trying to figure out how all these pieces are put together.
But you mentioned you mentioned the Koreans, you mentioned the veterans. I'm just saying the potato's important in the stew, Nick.
Okay, who are you gonna be? Who do you like more? Me, who just said you're a tasty stew, or him who called you a potato?
I mean, potato is a good vegetable, but...
Oh, he's good.
He said but. He hedged very well. Congratulations on the win, mate. We'll be back right after this short break.
Congrats.
out. Is there the graviton? It is. It locks him in place. Bebek forced to dash away. Flash is used to ensure the kill comes out. And yes, it does. There's the ultimate as a response. Kale doing Kale things. Members go golden. Kicks come across. Requiem to try and survive. Requiem pumping out damage. Wonder how many Dark Hub stacking. They can find an execution. They will get the shutdown, and that's an important talking point. But a double kill response from Tapoon. Now it's going to be Kennen who just gets deleted. No chance to do anything because he has no genres. But now this is the Eminence show. We've talked about it before. Ultimate flash in. Swords come crashing as Penanet fall on down. He goes golden as if he needs anything more. He is an angel. He is a demon. He is a nightmare. As he's going to come in for the cleanup for the ace. Once again, Kale does Kale things. The Ornhorn comes out, but too little, too late! Unless they can, but no! It gets to turn on ulti, not buys enough time for Tapoon to jump in the backline this time. Triple kill to his name. So many threats on this Legacy roster. Who do you go for? Who do you take? We'll have to wait until next week as Legacy go 6-0.
Introducing Macca's Mini Games. Play today and win on the My Macca's app.
Woo! Winning!
Every play wins one of your Macca's faves.